Hello guys, Tanzweed here, and today I'm back with another wig video in my Wig 101 series, if you will. And today I'm going to talk about different types of wigs and different qualities in wigs and how to spot them. Today I want to cover all sorts of wigs, and if you could only see the floor here, I am surrounded by wigs because there's quite a few different ones I would like to talk about and show you. So to begin with, what qualifies a good quality wig versus a bad quality wig? Well, there are a few pointers. The most important one, especially as a old cosplayer, I would say, is how shiny is your wig. This is a big one, and by how shiny I mean how much light does it reflect. So normal natural hair will reflect a certain amount of light, and that obviously depends on your hair type and also for instance your ethnicity, these kind of things. Also your hair color has a lot to say with it. So my examples today are going to be two black wigs, and that's because I feel like they are amongst the ones that reflect the most light and really show what I am trying to show you here. So obviously we can refer to my very dark hair as a natural hair. And again, all of the wigs I'm talking about are synthetic wigs. Just get that in your brain. So this hair, this is what I would call a really quite shiny wig. This isn't necessarily poor quality. This is just an older wig that I have, and it's very shiny. And you can see that how much it reflects the light. And you know, sometimes that is the effect you want, other times not necessarily. But this is just a good pointer of how high quality your wig is. And then you have this one. This hair is a much higher, slightly messy wig, and obviously you can also see that it has some curl to it. But I'm gonna hold them up side by side, and here you can see this one is much shinier. And the more shine you have in a wig, the more likely it is to be a poorer quality wig when it comes to synthetic fibers. So if you go to like Party City for you Americans or whatever, like these party stores, you'll often see that they have much shinier wigs than what a actual wig dedicated store will have. Sorry, my camera battery died, had to charge, so I'm back now. But anyway, let's get back on track. So let's talk about just like default wigs. So this one here, this is just a super normal mid-range wig. This one here got a fringe, and if you look at the top of it, this hair, this is what we call like a skin cap, I guess. That means there's a tiny little bit of like latex, skin colored like latex, or you know, plasticky stuff that is sewn in, so it looks like a natural human scalp. I think that's what you call it in English when you look at it. And that's fairly common, and you can see that all the hair kind of comes from that, so that's like the crown of the wig, I guess. On the inside you can see here that this hair, this is the forehead, and this is the nape of the wig. This is your neck that goes here. Normally there's some adjustable hooks here, like straps. I have cut them off on my wig, don't judge here. But anyway, the top, this hair is where that little bit of skin is sewn in, and then you can see just that this is like the main base of the wig. The rest of the wig consists of these elastic lace bits and the wefts. So these strands of hair, that's what we refer to as wefts, those are sewn onto the individual parts of the wig to keep it there. So if you stick your fingers through on the top, nothing's gonna happen, but here you can stick your fingers through the wig. That's just a very stereotypical basic default wig. Now you can get what we call a lace cap, and this hair, this is a different silvery blonde moment. But if you turn this one inside out, you will see that the entire wig is made out of this lace, this mesh tulle net. And that means that this one here, you can't really stick bobby pins through this unless you go for breaking the lace. This is what I meant by like the elastic straps that comes in a wig, and these little hoops here are meant to tighten your wig, if you didn't know that. But anyway, and then we're going to start talking about what we call lace fronts, because this wig here, this is a lace front, and that means that if you hold the wig up, you'll see here, this is just straight lace. So comparing it to the other wig, this one here, if you wear this one and you flip up the bangs, you're gonna see this bit here where the wefts are attached to, and this is not gonna look very natural like a forehead. Whereas the other one, this one here, this looks more natural. You have a much softer edge that looks more like natural human hair. A better example might be this one here, because this one does not have a fringe. This is not, we call it bangs as well, not just fringe, but you know, Australian English. This one here, slightly easier to tell. So this one here does not really have that fringe, but it's got the lace, and that these hairs are tied into the lace itself instead of sewn on with wefts. So if I do a little bit of this moment here and just pull it on elegantly, you can see there is no bangs, no fringe, and this hairline looks much more natural than that what this like harsh line would look like. So this is what we call a lace front, not to be confused with lace cap. So the white one that has a lace cap, this one also has a lace cap, a little bit easier to see. A lot of lace fronts have both lace caps and lace fronts, but basically if only the front of the wig is this lace, that's where we refer to it as a lace front. So if you hear pro cosplayers or YouTubers or people talk about it, this is normally what you get. And this is also how a lot of human grade, human hair wigs are made. We can also talk about the skin caps a little bit more, because those are interesting. Because the first one I showed you, all the hair came out of like from that one circle on the top. Nowadays you get a lot of character specific wigs. This is for Akane from Oshinoko. And she's got very like typical like mid-split in the anime. So this hair, this is from AliExpress, and you can tell here, I think it's from Doki Doki actually, but you can see here they've made that mid-split, and then they have a line here for the bangs. I personally don't love these because they can be a little hard to work with, and like you can tell like this one here can be a bit bulky, and on this one it's also not straight. Like this one is on an angle, so it sits really weird when I put it on my head. But basically that's just how it's made, and you can see sort of like the skin colored bit that is stitched into the lace here. But that is something you can get that like sort of decides the split, the parting of your wig, if you will. Quite cool and sometimes annoying. You can adjust these using heat. Just be sure you don't melt your wig as you go. So, you know, use a hairdryer on the inside and take it slow, and you can make these less bulky or sit better on your head. That is possible. The next wig I'm going to show you is a rather cheap one, and one of my shittiest wigs, I almost want to say. Not quite, but this hair is supposed to be like a lace front, so like, you know, no bangs without having the lace. And this one here is made so like a little bit hard to see, but the hair so like sort of stitched underneath, so you can see here that it's like sort of folded over. So when you wear this wig, you're not really gonna see that harsh edge I was talking about, and it kind of goes down to the sides as well. So like it's supposed to be sort of hiding your hairline, your natural hairline, and recreate that. And this one also has the typical mid-split. And this one here, this is cheating because it's got just a lace there instead of the entire thing. These wigs can be good. The reason why I say that this is a more shitty wig, excuse my French, is that it's very thin. So when I wear this, like you can see my natural hair through this one, or like my lace cap, once I wear it, the lace nets, my hair set up. You can see it, like, you know, I'm barely sticking my fingers through and you can see it. So if I just put this dark wig inside this light one, like you see the darkness peek through. And that thickness of hair is actually the next point we should be talking about when it comes to wigs. Because a thinner wig with less hair, that is another very significant aspect of whether or not it's a high quality wig. Lower quality wigs, or lower quality sellers, I guess you could also say, tend to try and get away with putting less hair into the wigs so that they're thinner, and thereby like you have less to work with and your natural hair or scalp might show under. So I prefer wigs with more hair in them than less. Obviously this comes back to styling too, so like I have friends that will say that much hair is great, but you can have too much when it comes to styling, especially if it's shorter hair. So, you know, keep that in mind. Another thing I would like to talk about is also how quickly a wig tangles, because that is also something that actually can tell you a little bit about how good or poor quality a wig is. So if you have a long wig like this one here, and this was a little bit messy now because I've just been shooting with it, a long wig, no matter what you do, it will tangle. Just get that into your head straight away. No matter what wig you have, if it's long, it will tangle. So there's just nothing you can do about that. But there are, first of all, wig companies and specific type of wigs that combat or try to deal with that. A higher quality wig is less likely to tangle than a low quality one, so just default there. I specifically want to mention Arda because Arda wigs, they do what they call a silky wig, and a silky wig in their brand, their firm, is basically a wig that is made to be silkier and less likely to tangle. It is going to tangle and get messy, but it's less like it's gonna do it slower than a lot of default normal other wigs. I actually do have some tips and tricks up my sleeve on how to make wigs last longer and tangle less. That should be an upcoming video, especially if you would like to hear more about it. I guess I can talk a little bit about heat styling as well. So a higher quality wig is usually set to handle more heat than a lower quality wig is. If you buy especially character specific wigs on like Alibaba or AliExpress or all of these places, they usually handle less heat than some of these higher name brand wigs do. So if you get a new wig and you haven't seen specifically or you can't find what kind of heat it can handle, start slow, because a melted wig fiber is a wig fiber that is never going to be the same. Basically you will see that on the wig, so go slow with your heat. I think that's what I wanted to talk about. That was a lot of wig rambling. I don't know if it made sense, and losing battery halfway through kind of threw me for a loop, but anyway, I think that's what I wanted to cover. Wigs, fun. Expensive, but it can be very, very rewarding and good, and you know, we're all about trying to make sure you know what you're doing with your wigs and where to go from here. And you know, there are lots of good places to buy wigs from, and personally I have a lot of good quality wigs, I have a lot of really good quality wigs, I have a lot of not very good quality wigs, and I have a lot of both old and new. And you know, sometimes you just gotta do what suits yourself and your wallet and what you can find. So, you know, one step at a time. But wigs are fun, and let me know if there's anything else you want to hear me talk about when it comes to wigs on this series, or here on YouTube for that matter. Just leave a comment or contact me on my socials, and we'll see what I can do for you. For now, thanks for watching, and I hope it was interesting, rewarding. Maybe you learned something, maybe not, and either or, thanks for the company. See you in the next one.